feel pretty hot. I'm getting ready for a pretty good sized change in my life. I have a company. I guess where I'm heading here is I feel like that's what I want more than anything, is to make a change. But I've got my heels dug in, and I'm trying to find clarity on that.
We have a quick question for you, and then we want to hear more from you. You said you're getting ready for a big change. So we just want to ask, do you think you are ready? Because if you don't feel ready, don't make the change yet.
I think I'm beyond ready, but I still have my heels dug in.
But those two statements don't go together.
That's where the confusion is.
It'll be easy for you to unravel this as we play just a little bit, because sometimes what you're ready for is not doing what you're doing. Your readiness is to let go of something. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
When, as you say, your heels are dug in because vibrationally you're still attached to it. Now, this is going to make so much sense to you. We talked even today about how law of attraction gives you whatever it is you're thinking about. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not. That's an easy way to hear it. So when you say, I'm not going to do that, you're actually doing it. And you're making it more likely that you're going to continue to do it the whole while you're focused upon what you're no longer going to do. Because when you say, I'm not going to do it, you're doing it, and law of attraction is bringing you more of it. In other words, and that gives you the sensation of your heels digging in, because it just doesn't let loose of you. So you've been listening to us over these days, and one of the things that we have offered on many occasions is that it is the releasing of the focus on a subject that causes it to dissipate and not hold you to it. So that feeling of heels dug in is because it's still an active vibration. And of course it would still be an active vibration because you're still actively involved. So the question is, how do I remain actively involved and at the same time release it? And it's by thinking new thoughts about it. It's by reestablishing your relationship with it. It's not so different than the early conversation here today of Esther looking for Jerry where he is, not where he was. Thinking of your business where it's going to, not where it is. Thinking about what's new, not about what's old. Thinking about how you are in the process of becoming rather than in the process of what currently is. It sounds simple. And it is, but it takes some practice to catch yourself in the thought and realize what you're adding to. Do you think, we do, but you certainly may disagree with us, but it's very common that your long decided value of self is tied to what you do. So at the same time that you're believing that you can let go of it, since there's a lot of you that feels invested in what it is, it's like you haven't found a way to define yourself or redefine yourself apart from it. And so that's why you keep holding yourself to it. That's why the story that we believe we told once on this cruise already about a man who had lost his company and had lost all of his financial value. And he was well into his 60s, and he is saying to us, I can't imagine starting over. It took so long to get to where I was, and now it's gone, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And we said to him, the manifestation that has fallen away is inconsequential. He couldn't hear that, but we really meant it. It's inconsequential because you have a vibrational currency that is all that matters. It's your point of attraction that we're talking about. And he didn't know it, but he had accrued an enormous vibrational reality. His vibrational currency was enormous in terms of understanding his value and understanding his clarity, but he was not letting himself go there because he was associating himself so much with the physical, which had already been let go of. In your case, it isn't, but it's almost the same thing where you're not quite ready to let go of that because it feels like it's such a big part of your identity. And we want to say that part of your identity doesn't mean diddly squat in comparison with this part of your identity. Who you are and that which you've become will still be standing with you, even in more robust offering, because you won't be dealing on a daily basis with all of the points of resistance that you've been overcoming and overcoming and overcoming. People think that they become stronger because they overcome challenges. And in a world that is only seen as action-oriented, that may be sort of kind of true. But in the vibrational world, the more you let go of challenges, the stronger you become, because the less resistance there is, the fewer sticks are in fewer wheels, so to speak. So that's conceptually what we want you to know. Now, do you want to talk more specifically about it?
I may wander off here a little bit. I've been feeling really cluttered inside, and what I've been hearing from you is the importance of meditating. And after Cancun, I was probably meditating at least 45 minutes a day, and clarity was flowing easily. Abundance, which I call, what's my word for peacefulness, things flow.
Clutter is about indecision. Indecision is the best description of clutter, because it's putting an engine there, putting an engine there, putting an engine there, putting an engine there, what I want, what I believe, what I want, what I believe, and it puts you in a sort of tug of war. And the thing that we want you to hear is that while you think you are decisive about what you plan to do, energetically you're not as decisive as your words imply. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I've decided. When you say, I've decided, well, the vibration of your being lets you know how decided you really are. Because if you were really decided, you'd only be feeling elation about that and absolute readiness. And as long as you're feeling cluttered or tension or something less than that, then that means you are not energetically decided. That's really worth thinking about, isn't it? When we say, are you knowing what you are wanting? People almost always say yes, or they project that as a thought. I know what I want, but there are a whole lot of people that think that they are projecting a vibration about what they say they want, when actually they are projecting a vibration about where they are. That's why we're wanting to help you to withdraw a little bit from language and patterns of thought and push that restart button and let the new thoughts flow in with a little bit more consistency. A lot of people, almost everyone in fact, if we were to say, tell us what you want, mixed in, even with the most practiced among them, would be some vibration, while their words might not say it, some vibration about what they don't want. There's almost always, I want this because I don't want this, that's in there somewhere. And we can feel it strongly within you.
Yeah, and when you touched on the beginning of our conversation, basically what you were saying is I judge my self-worth through my work.
As you get into the receiving mode, and much of what you were doing in all of that time was that, as you get into the receiving mode and you are inspired, then things do manifest. And if you could stay in that, I'm in the allowing of manifestations to happen, the satisfaction of ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. If you can stay in that attitude, then you would never get yourself in a place where the manifestation is how you then determine what you've got. What we're asking you to do is no longer focus upon the manifestation that has become, and instead focus upon the process that caused it to become. Because the process that caused it to become is still active within you and will cause the next to become, and the next and the next and the next, even if it is just a casual, delicious receiving of life experience as it comes to you. But it's not the easiest thing. We say this to all of you. If we visited with you on the first day of your life experience here in this physical body, before you had accumulated a persona of who you are and how you got there, then you would just be getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready, and you really would live happily ever after. And it's not wrong that you've developed these patterns before we meet, but it just flat out comes down to manifestations that you can see with your eyes and so forth have felt like a bigger deal to you, and because of your attention to them, they are a more active part of your vibration. And all we're saying is that as meditation allows what's really active within you to take a more dominant stance, there will be a tipping of that board on the fulcrum, and you'll feel it when it happens. And you'll feel yourself willing to let go of that without letting go of all of the you that caused it to be, because all of that is you that caused it to be is still present in every conversation that you have, in every acknowledgement of everything that you are living. You see, you're not going away in any way. You're just changing your perspective. Let's find the words. Who you be and what you have are not the same thing. How you feel and what you've accumulated are not the same thing. How you feel and what you do are not the same thing. We're just asking you to become more of a vibrational being for a little while. People call themselves human beings, but they are more human doings.